Hey everyone, welcome back. Thanks for joining me. I have a very special to me personally recent acquisition that I made, and this is the pretty hard to find Pioneer 3-stage rocket with launcher at Cape Canaveral, mind you. And the reason this is a little special for me personally, on a personal basis, is this is, number one, the first toy from the Paul Lipps collection that I've been able to acquire. And Paul had a wonderful collection that he sold, unfortunately, during a down market in 2005. I think the economy was teetering a little bit then. And it was a Christmas auction also, which is the worst time, in my opinion, to sell, because most people have commitments to other financial obligations, let's just say, at the holidays, for families, gifts, whatever. And so the auction itself resulted in some of the lowest prices ever imaginable for some of the rarest items imaginable. And if you want to look at the prices, you'll be absolutely shocked by how low some of the prices were. That was at Christie's. This is the actual tag. And that's Paul Lipps, and I'll get into that in a sec too. But that was a Christie's auction, November 17th, 2005, the Paul Lipps collection. I do have a couple of pieces that I bought from Paul direct, and we swapped items many times, and we became friends through the years as collecting. I actually have a couple of good friends that I made in Italy, and I had considered them very dear friends, in fact. And unfortunately, several years later, Paul passed away. Was involved in a accident with a scooter, which is not uncommon in Italy. The traffic there is insane. You know, those roads, if you think some of the old northeastern roads, like say for instance in New York, are bad, well, you know, go through some of those small towns with narrow roads built, 500, 600, 800 years ago, and you'll see how dangerous it is, especially in scooters. So for whatever reason, there's a lot of scooter deaths in Italy. And in fact, another collector friend of mine on Facebook, he is an attorney there, and I think he represents a lot of victims. So I think they're trying to mitigate some of these problems, but it happens. But anyway, I became good friends with Paul, and that, of course, is Paul there that I'm showing you. And back in 2000 at the Griffith auction at Sotheby's, he came over to the States, and I actually had written or signed some paperwork. They had asked me if I wanted to be some type of like consultant or toy partner with them, and I said, sure, why not? Because it was a prestigious thing. Why wouldn't you? I still actually have that paperwork. So they invited me for a private preview of the entire Griffith collection, and this was in their storage area. So the time I went, I actually met up with Paul, and we became good friends, and we went through the entire collection. That's him holding the, of course, now famous Jupiter robot, which I think sold for like around $40,000 at that auction, if I'm not mistaken, or 28. No, I think it was 40. So it was very high price. And subsequently, Paul also bought a very rare robot warboat on eBay. I think at the time, it was the, I'm going to say early 2000s. He paid maybe $15,000, $16,000, and I was the underbidder. I was really upset that I lost it. But not too long after that, I had won the robot warboat, and it was missing the gun assembly, the missiles, and he sent me his entire toy that he had spent, $15,000, $16,000 for. He allowed me to so this was obviously before his auction, he allowed me to send it to Classic Tin Toys in Wisconsin so that they could recreate the gun assembly. And there aren't too many people in the world that would allow you access to a toy like that. And the box, so I had scans if I wanted to make a copy of the box for myself. Just something that was far above and beyond what any normal collector or friend would offer to do. And by the way, here's the close-up of the tag. So we stayed in touch until his untimely demise. So this video is really almost like a dedication to him, just to remind everyone what a well-known pioneering collector, especially in the area of space toys too. He was early on in some of the rarest space toys. So this is sort of an homage to him. And anyway, with that out of the way, this is the actual toy, and a lot of times people call this the Roscoe or Nomura, and the logo though is HT with the Cupid, Japan, and then over here it says a Kramer toy. So I don't know if there's a Roscoe version of this box or a Nomura version. I'm going to have to look at the toy, that's the patent, and see if there's a Nomura or TNN logo on it. I actually didn't do that, but the box, very crisp. Paul did manage to have some of the most pristine condition toys. And as a matter of fact, he purchased a very rare red version of a fire car for me, which at the time I didn't know how rare it was. So it had a very unique gun design. It was the only one like that, in fact. And I remember he saw it and he was like, "Oh, you want to sell it? I'll give you some good money." So he managed to snag that from me, and that was kind of funny seeing that. And at that time at the auction, I think I was very tight too, and I couldn't afford it. If I had to go back now, I think I could have bought at those prices probably almost the entire collection. But it is what it is. So anyway, the three-stage rocket launcher, it took me a while to actually figure out how this even assembled. Here's your base, which has like a liquid oxygen tank. I'm wondering, do they use liquid oxygen as part of the jet fuel? And you can see the guy's actually fueling the truck there. See the base. I don't want this thing to shoot in my face. I was reluctant to even decide if I'm going to shoot it. And I have not shot this, so if I do, if it misfires, it'll be the first. So there, it looks like you have a Chevy Nomad doing something or other. And it's another finned car, right? So that looks like, judging by those fins, that reminds me of a like Chrysler 300, quad headlights. So I'm guessing 59 or 60 is the actual year of this toy, if the cars are any indication. And this says here, of course, I'm pointing it sort of away, keep away, and with good reason, because this thing will like smack you down. And then you have this beautiful rocket, 4 fins. Got United States Air Force on there, the checkerboard pattern. Here's your launch platform here, and here's the button to fire. And now this is a 3-stage, as it's indicated. So, what you're doing is this mechanism, you slide down and click it. And it took me a while to figure out there's 2 slots in the rocket back here, and then there's these 2 protruding pieces of metal that slide into those slots. And, it was kind of deceiving because there's this metal piece here on the bottom, and it looked like maybe that would slide in there. So it took a little maneuvering to figure it out. So let's go back and explain one other thing. The release for the second stage is actually now hidden by the platform. So what I'm going to do, this could be a dud, could be another Geraldo Rivera safe moment, but let's hit the release and see where this goes. Hopefully it won't break the tip. Well, I guess that spring is not that strong, so I'll have to find the first the capsule. Here we go. And by the way, this you can see here why I'm reluctant, because it has like little fins here. Right? It's supposed to have 4, and this one here is like a little chipped. So I'm kind of glad it didn't go too far. Anyway, so now we have the rocket. So this is what I was telling you. You push this down. Now it looks like it should have been a little more powerful, but again, these are your slots. You don't get a great connection with these to lift it up, so I'm not surprised. But now here's for your second stage is the lever here. So let's hit this. And there you go. That's your 3 stages. So this is all spring assembly. And when you I'll show you this so that if anyone actually has this toy and they're like, how the hell do I put this thing together? I'll give you the quick instructional part here. So you line up the 2 arrows here. You press down. This slot, you can push it in. Okay, so now you're locked into place. Then you would push down on this to click. And keep in mind, these springs are old too, so yeah, that popped out better than when it was on the platform. See if I can get this to stick. Well, you get the idea. Anyway, so if we push down on this, maybe it'll stick a little bit better. And see these two protruding shafts here. This is what you're going to line up with the slots. And it's kind of tricky to get this in, believe it or not. Here, put it more on camera. So I'm just going to kind of leave it loose for now, just to give you an idea. That's the way you're supposed to do it. And then, of course, well, now you know why I said this was kind of a pain in the ass to assemble. I have a feeling that this toy probably, even brand new, never worked all that well. So that's probably why it's fairly uncommon. I would not be at all surprised if a lot of people threw this toy out in frustration. But of course, for me, it will be a treasured piece, and it's a beautiful addition to a rocket collection, and of course a rare space toy. You know, you're going to be fumbling with all this stuff though. And again, that's really all I wanted to tell you about this. Thanks for watching, and I appreciate your time as always. If you haven't subscribed, by the way, take a second to do so, and leave any likes or remarks. Don't worry, I'll get it back together in a good way, but it's not like I'm going to play with this for a while. And anyway, as always, thanks again. And with that, I will talk to you later.